Hello, I'm Bryden Coverdale here with Ian Chappell to look back at the third test between Australia and India in Perth. Ian, 3-0 and a pretty one-sided series so far. What's gone wrong for India and specifically the batting?
Well, I think the Indian selectors have been pretty short-sighted over the last couple of years. I think they should have been phasing some of the older players out. And ageing batsmen are the two conditions that are really going to find them out. If you get a wet summer in England and the ball's seaming around a bit, they lost their 4-0 and really struggled. And pace and bouncy pitches like you get in Australia. So a bad combination for India. Plus also their fielding, because they're an ageing side. Their fielding really struggled in England. Perhaps hasn't been showing up quite as much in Australia, but it's a huge part of the game. So I think that's where their problem started. Once they got on the tour, the Australians have bowled extremely well to them, no doubting that at all. But to me, and it's not like they haven't got the options. We've seen Virat Kohli and how he's played. It might have taken him to Perth, although I thought he looked pretty good in Sydney and then just got out. But it took him to Perth to really put something decent on the board. But he showed what a younger player, without scarring and so on, can do. They've had Rohit Sharma sitting on the sidelines for ages. He should have been playing Test cricket by now. And I think that the Australians have seen it with an injection of youth into the side. It's amazing, the enthusiasm this gives the side. It also perks up the fielding, which in turn helps the bowling. So, there's many reasons why you need to have that balance of experience and youth in a cricket team. And India, to me, haven't hit that right balance.
Well, there are some reports that VVS Laxman might be considering retirement. That would give Rohit Sharma perhaps an opportunity in Adelaide. Specifically, what has VVS Laxman not been doing this tour that's led him to the failures that he's had?
Well, the biggest problem for batsmen when they're not making runs is they're getting out. There's a whole lot of reasons why you can get out, but I mean they've faced some. The thing about the Australian bowling is it's been pretty consistently good. And it doesn't matter whether you're a young batsman or an ageing batsman, that's going to really test you out. But VVS is, he's probably just been caught a little bit. He likes to play off the back foot, which generally suits Australian conditions. But I think he's probably been caught on the crease a bit much. He's also a player who I've always thought with VVS that he hasn't got a hell of a lot of confidence in himself. He's always asking, what am I doing wrong, or is there anything you think that can, you just look at him and say, mate, when you can bat like you, don't worry about what's going wrong, So I think he's that sort of player that can lose confidence a bit. And if you're that sort of player and you have a couple of failures, the confidence can go down pretty quickly.
Well, what would be your Indian lineup for the Adelaide Test? There'd obviously be some changes.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, it was a ridiculous selection to pick 4 quickies. For India to pick 4 quickies is just stupid. And I mean, it's not like they were bringing a genuinely fast bowler into the team. They brought a medium pacer in. Now, I mean, unless you're a genuine swing bowler, 125 kilometres an hour in Perth, that's the best thing for batsmen. I mean, you ask any batsman in the world what he would like in Perth, and I bet he tells you 125 kilometre medium pacer will do me just fine, thanks very much, because that's the right speed for hitting guys in Perth. So you've got to be a genuine swing bowler in Perth is very handy because he can push up into the breeze all the time. But I don't see Vinay Kumar as a swing bowler. He's more of a seamer. To me, that's the ideal bowler to face in Perth. So, to me, a very short-sighted selection once again in Perth. Crazy for India to go looking for 4 quickies. So, I think their selectors have got a lot to answer for.
Australia also went with 4 quicks, but that's worked for Australia. Their bowlers have worked so well together. Why has that worked for the Australians?
Well, you know, I mean, the bloke that they brought in, I guess Mitchell Stark is the guy that you would talk about. He's a bit more than 120. I mean, he's more up over 140. He's tall. He gets a lot of bounce, and I think this has been Mitchell Stark's best Test match performance so far, because it's been much more consistent than what we saw in his earlier Test matches. And the thing that's really to like, and I'm sure it's pleasing the Australian selectors, is the fact that he's getting the ball to swing back into the right-handers. That's what every left-arm quickie is looking for. So, you know, the Australian attack, even though it's all quick bowlers, at least you have the variety of a bit of left arm. But the other thing that the Australian bowlers have done extremely well, pretty well all summer, is swing the ball. And I think you can give Craig McDermott a plus mark there. Because, I mean, for years it staggered me that everyone's running around trying to find ways to get the old ball to swing. I kept thinking to myself, why isn't everyone trying to swing the new ball? You swing the new ball and you get your the top 4 players out in the opposition, then you don't have to worry so much what's happening with the old ball. And in particularly if you've got a good spinner in your side, then things will take care of themselves. So get those top order guys out of the way with the new ball swinging, and that'll solve a lot of your problems. So I think Craig McDermott's got to get a big plus mark there, because I think he's had a lot to do with that.
It's not just the Australian bowling that's been impressive here. David Warner, extraordinary with his innings, and good support from Ed Cowan. What do you think of that as an opening combination for Australia?
Well, I think the ideal opening combination for Australia would be Warner and Watson. I think I don't believe in all this talk about moving Watson from the opening position. Certainly not yet. I might be tempted a little bit later on if number 3 becomes a bit of a black hole to use him in the number 3 spot. But I certainly wouldn't be pushing him any lower than number 3. And also, if I was captaining the side, he'd be a 4-over bowler anyhow. To me, the fact that he's not able to bowl much wouldn't be a problem, because I think he's a batsman. So batsmen are there to get hundreds, and you don't do anything to detract from him making 100. And bowling long spells, to me, is going to detract from him making centuries. So, 4 overs every now and again to give the main bowlers a breather. That'll do me with Shane Watson. But I think and I think Warner and Watson would be an ideal, apart from the right and left hand. I think they would complement each other pretty well. Warner is, I'm really delighted that he's played so well in the longer version of the game. Because the first time I saw him bat in that T20 game against South Africa, I said to my wife, I said, this kid can bat. He's not just a hitter, he can bat. And I was really cranky with the New South Wales selectors for not giving him opportunities earlier in the 4-day game. You get a batsman like that, I mean, he can be destructive in T20 cricket, very destructive in 50-over cricket, but boy, if they fire in the longer version of the game, they'll win you matches. And to me, you had to find out if Warner could play in the longer version of the game, and the best way to do that was in Sheffield Shield cricket. Fortunately, he's overcome all those hurdles, and he's shown everybody that he's a batsman, and a hell of a talented batsman.
His 100 in Hobart was a very different type of 100 than here. How does this whacker innings compare to other innings you've seen?
Well, when you're going through the list of all the things that he did here at the whacker, it reminded me of Roy Frederick's 100 here against the Australians in 75-6. He got it off 71 balls. Warner beat that by 2 balls, 69. Chris Gale, took him 70 balls to get 100 here. Gilchrist, 57 balls. I thought of Doug Walters with the 6 off the last ball, Warner hitting a 6 to bring up his 100. So, look at the names that we're talking about here. They're all very, very good players. And so that is an indication of how special this innings was at the whacker.
Ian Chappell, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.